Welcome back, friends, to your Techhandy channel. Please like and subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon to timely get new video updates. In today's video, we'll walk through the process of installing Ansible, setting up a Linux managed host, and configuring a Windows managed host. Whether you're new to Ansible or looking to enhance your skills, this video is for you. The resource requirements for an Ansible controller can vary based on factors such as the size of your infrastructure, the complexity of playbooks, and the frequency of automation tasks. I will share general guidelines for resource requirements. You need minimum a dual-core processor. Recommended is a quad-core or higher processor. The CPU requirement can increase with the size and complexity of the automation tasks. Minimum of 2 GB RAM required and recommended is 4 GB or more. Larger inventories and complex playbooks may benefit from increased RAM. The minimum 10 GB of available storage required but recommended is 20 GB or more. Ansible itself doesn't require significant storage, but having sufficient space for log files and other system needs is essential. A stable network connection with low latency is crucial, especially when managing remote hosts over SSH or WinRM. Ansible can run on various Unix-like operating systems, including Linux distributions, such as Ubuntu, CentOS, Red Hat, and Mac OS. Ansible controller host can be installed on cloud, on-premises, or even can be on your personal laptop. If applicable, ensure that firewalls and security groups permit communication between the Ansible controller and managed hosts. Ansible requires Python on the controller machine. Recommended version Python 3 and above. If you are using Ansible Tower, the web-based interface and REST API for Ansible, additional resources may be required based on usage and concurrent job execution. It's essential to monitor the resource usage on your Ansible controller and adjust accordingly as your infrastructure and automation tasks evolve. Additionally, consider leveraging Ansible best practices, such as optimizing playbooks and using efficient coding techniques, to minimize resource consumption. Always check the official Ansible documentation for any version-specific recommendations and updates regarding resource requirements. Keep in mind that these guidelines are general and may need to be adjusted based on your specific use case and environment. In this lab setup, I am going to install Ansible on CentOS 9, which will be our controller node. Then we set up 2 Linux managed hosts, and finally we will configure WinRM on Windows Server 2012 R2 and Windows 10. We will end our video with a test connection between the Ansible controller and managed hosts using a simple playbook. As you can see, I have 3 CentOS machines up and running. These are fresh install VMs with static IPs and host names assigned according to their environment needs. Additionally, I have established SSH connection to all 3 machines using PuTTY. Before starting any installation or configuration, run the following command on all 3 machines. This command updates the system packages to the latest versions. On a side note, all commands that I am going to use in this video, the link have been shared under this video description. All package updates are completed. Next, we need to add entries of all managed hosts' FQDN and IPs to hosts file of the controller for local name resolution. You can use any editor which you are comfortable using with. Test network connectivity between servers to ensure name resolution is working. Next, for the continuity of lab, let us disable Firewall D service. This is not the best practice in production. Make sure to follow company policies for allowed traffic. A firewall typically establishes a barrier between a trusted network and an untrusted network, such as the Internet. Next, let's enable and start cronny service, which is used as NTP server. Cronny is a versatile implementation of the network time protocol. The cronny suite mostly installed by default. Verify and update the cronny sources by using below command. You can review NTP configurations and also can define your NTP server's hostnames under cronny configuration file. Confirm controller SSH service is running. As per the next step, we are going to create a user account named admin, and also will make this user account a member of a group named Techhandy. We also provide sudo permissions to this group. Please make sure this account is created and available on all Linux managed hosts to execute playbooks with proper privileged access. Later we will generate SSH key and copy it to managed hosts, so we can SSH into managed hosts without providing a password. The next command installs the EPEL, extra packages for Enterprise Linux repository, which contains additional packages not included in the default repositories. EPEL is an open source and free community-based repository project from Fedora team which provides 100% high-quality add-on software packages for Linux distributions. We are now ready to install Ansible package. Ansible package installation completed successfully. Verify Ansible with its version details. This will also gives you Python version details, or run this command to verify the installation of Ansible Python on the local host by using the setup mode. For the next steps, make sure to switch to the admin account that we created earlier. We use this account to configure SSH passwordless access and generate SSH key pair. Use following command to generate SSH key pair for admin user. You can set up password on key pair or simply hit enter for no password. Next, we will gather SSH public keys, and list these nodes as no hosts under SSH known hosts file by executing below command. Let's copy the keys to controller and Linux managed nodes by executing following commands. You need to provide admin account password to connect host and copy key. As you can see, we are getting permission denied on trying to copy the key to the managed host. This is because there is no admin account existing on managed hosts. Let's create an admin account and add it to Techhandy sudo group on both Linux managed hosts. We have added admin account on both Linux managed hosts. Let's try one more time to copy key to both machines. We are able to successfully copy keys this time. The controller is now installed and configured, and we are now ready to test connectivity between the controller and managed Linux nodes with a simple ping playbook. Make sure you are logged in controller with the admin user account. In the home directory of the admin user, create an Ansible configuration file and feed the data as shown on the screen. We are going to use this file as our custom Ansible config file. Let's create a custom static inventory file named org.infra in the home directory, which will contain information about our two Linux managed hosts. You can assign each host to multiple groups for management purposes. Now let's list the customized hosts using following command. Once we set up the inventory file, you can use the Ansible-inventory command to validate and obtain information about your Ansible inventory by using -i option, which specify the inventory path. You can list all managed hosts in the inventory file which are not part of a group. In our case, there are no ungrouped managed hosts in the inventory file. You can list all managed hosts listed in the specific group. Let's check web server group. Let's verify the communication between the managed host by running the below command and using the module called ping. Congratulations! You have successfully installed Ansible on your controller machine, configured SSH keys, created an inventory file, and executed a simple Ansible ping module. In next part we will configure WinRM on Windows Server 2012 R2 to establish communication between controller and Windows Server. As you can see, I spin to machines Windows 10 and Windows Server 2012 R2. I updated and installed all Windows packages on both machines. Further, I had assigned static IPs and hostnames to these machines. For this demonstration, I will use Windows Server 2012 R2, but the method will be the same for Windows 10 as well. Make sure Windows firewalls are disabled, but for production environment follow your company security policies and allowed rules. Ansible is a powerful open-source automation tool that allows you to manage and configure systems, including Windows servers. Adding a Windows host to Ansible involves configuring WinRM, Windows Remote Management, on the target machine and creating an inventory file to store connection details. To set up WinRM, let's open PowerShell with administrator privileges. First, we need to set the execution policy to remote sign to ensure PowerShell execution policy allows running scripts. Check status of WinRM service status, start service in case it's disabled. Set up the WinRM service to start automatically. WinRM Quick Config command is useful when setting up WinRM for the first time on a Windows machine or when you want to ensure that the basic configuration is in place for remote management. By default, WinRM uses NTLM authentication, but Ansible works best with basic authentication. Let's configure WinRM for basic authentication. Let's check for the basic authentication is true or not. For lab, configure WinRM to listen on all network interfaces. As I mentioned earlier, you can find all these commands download link in this video description. As per next step, create same credentials user on Windows Server and on your controller. For managing Windows devices, I am creating new user called WinAdmin. This account must be a member of administrator group. Switch to new user WinAdmin on your controller. Install the required packages, which is pip and Python WinRM. Same way, create custom Ansible config and org infra files as data showing on screen. Make sure to define hostname and credentials as per your environment. Now let's create a simple playbook to ping the hosts and test connection. Finally, let's run the WinPing playbook and check the Windows Server host connectivity with the controller node. Congratulations! You've successfully installed Ansible, configured a Linux managed host, and configured a Windows managed host. I hope this video was helpful in getting you started with Ansible. If you have any questions or topics you'd like us to cover in future videos, feel free to let us know. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching.